also wearing trousers today. And back in the day, we call them breeches, Brother Clay. They put on breeches. Amen. So it take more than pants to be a man and to be a father. Amen. A father takes care of his homely obligation. Wife and our children have to ask him, neither tell him what his obligation is. It's already wrapped up and tied up within him. Amen. Amen. He knows his obligation. Every father knows that he is the breadwinner of the household. Whatever the house needs, he knows he's responsible for it. Amen. That song says the children need a new pair of shoes. Children don't have to tell them that they need a new pair of shoes. Dad ought to be able to look at their feet and know that there's something going on. Talking about a real father. He is the breadwinner. Now, what's been on my mind, I don't know how much the Lord wants me to say about it. But I want to talk from 5 words. Set your house in order. I think that's good for fathers. I received somebody then. I received someone. Set your house in order. And our thought comes from the book of Isiah, the 38th chapter. Began reading at the very first verse. The Bible says, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And Isiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, thus said the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. And the Bible said, then Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, because God he still answers prayer. He turned his face unto the wall and prayed unto the Lord and said, remember me. Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth with a perfect heart. You all know how you are walking before God. Amen. Hezekiah, not that he needed to remind God, but he tells God, remember, O Lord, I beseech thee how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and I have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept so. That means he really prayed. Amen. He did not cease praying. And the Bible said, then came the word of the Lord to Isiah, saying, go and say to Hezekiah, thus said the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, and I have seen thy tears. And behold, I will add unto thy days 15 more years. Amen. God is an adder, you know. Set your house in order. That's what I want to talk about. Set your house in order. You know, in the book of Hebrews, the 9th chapter, the 27th verse, it is said, it is once appointed for men to die, and after this, the judgment. Everybody gonna have to face the judgment by God for themselves. The word came to Hezekiah, and Hezekiah was the king of Judah, and he had a great grandfather whose name was Uzziah, and most of us we're familiar with the name Uzziah. Uzziah also was a great king of Judah, and God had given him conquering power over other nations. But you know, sometimes when God blesses us, we get beside ourselves. Uzziah had been a great king of Judah. But after the Lord had blessed him so much, the Bible said he got beside him. He was lifted up in pride. It is dangerous to be lifted up in pride. And you know the story. When he was lifted up, God had to bring him down. Amen. He wanted to take over the priestly duty. He was the king of Judah, but he wanted to go into the temple of God and take over the priestly obligation. And God would not have him do that. And he was stricken with the leprosy. Now, this is Hezekiah's great-grandfather. And after Uzziah died, he had a son, Jotham. And then after him was Ahaz, King Ahaz, who was Hezekiah's father. The Bible said that Ahaz did not walk before God in an upright manner. Amen. But he patterned himself after the northern kingdom, Israel. You know, after Israel had come over into the promised land, after a period of time, after David had reigned over Israel and Solomon his son, and after Solomon had reigned over Israel, the complete kingdom, and he didn't do so well, and God divided the kingdom under the leadership of Rehoboam, which was Solomon's son, who did not want, to have compassion on the people of God. And so God ran a portion of the kingdom out of his hand. And so Hezekiah, was the king of Judah. And Judah was the southern kingdom. And before Hezekiah came on scene, his father named Ahaz had patterned himself after the northern kingdom, who had been idol worshipers. They had begun to worship idol God. They had turned away from God, and they had erected a golden statue. They had erected wooden statue to worship them over and above God. But when Hezekiah became king of Judah, amen, he tore down all those grove images. And he brought about a reformation upon Israel. What Hezekiah was doing, he was trying to get Israel to set their house, Judah rather, set the house in order. And I'm saying to you today that Jesus, the Son of the living God, he's coming back. And the purpose of the gospel is to allow you to get your house in order, because he's coming back. The Bible says you don't know the day, not an hour, that he shall return. The Bible said now in those days Hezekiah was sick. He was sick unto death. God had sent him a word by the prophet Isiah and said unto him, go and tell King Hezekiah that I said set his house in order, because he's going to die and not live. And that's the purpose of the gospel, is to get you to set your house in order, because you're not going to get out here alive. You're going to have to, amen, first of all, as someone said on yesterday, you got to go through the natural death, the physical death, but you don't want to go through the second death. So therefore you have to get your house in order on this side. Now, when he said unto Hezekiah, set your house in order, that means to get it right. Amen, amen, get it right. If you haven't gotten your house in order, your household, yourself in order, it means it's time for you to get right now. Amen, to get it right with God. It means to correct those things that are wrong in your life. And you know what's wrong. No one helps you. If you're a rational-minded person, you know right from wrong. And you need to get it in order. You need to straighten up. I'm reminded when Jesus was teaching his disciples. And the Bible said there came a ruler, a rich young man. And he said unto Jesus, thou good master, what good thing must I do to be saved? And Jesus said, just like many of us, we already know what's right. Amen. Amen. The only thing we have to do is just remind you of the thing that's right. He said, thou good master, what good thing must I do to be saved? And Jesus replied to him he said, thou knowest the commandment. He said, oh, yeah.